Books have been getting banned almost as long as books have been getting published. Some for the obscene use of profanity, intense sexual themes, and disgusting uses of violence, and some for no reason at all. Only one book, however, was pulled from shelves for bringing death to young high school students across the United States. In the early 1970s, Stephen King had quickly set himself apart as one of the greatest writers of the decade, thanks to his first three novels, Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining. King is famously a very quick writer, which his publishers loved, but they also hated. King's ability to write an average of 6 pages a day quickly posed a problem that worried the publishers. They were worried that they could not keep up with him and that the market would soon be oversaturated with King's work. This inspired King to write under a pseudonym and publish some of his unused manuscripts straight to paperback. The publishers were happy with this idea. King had originally wanted to use the name Guy Pillsbury after his grandfather, but just before he could publish under it, the name was outed. Later, while on a call with his agent, King was asked if he had any other ideas for names. A Richard Stark novel sat beside King, and a Bachman-Turner Overdrive record played in the background. King combined these two names to get Richard Bachman. In September of 1977, Bachman published his first straight-to-paperback novel. It was titled Rage. In Rage, we are first introduced to the protagonist, Charlie Decker, as he is pulled out of class and sent to the principal's office for violently assaulting a teacher with a pipe wrench. Charlie, unconcerned with what the principal has to say, heads back to class. Before he enters, though, he stops at his locker, removes a handgun, and sets the locker ablaze. When he returns to class, he shoots the teacher in the face, killing her instantly. Charlie then takes the entire class hostage. The rest of the novel takes place mostly in the classroom, with a few scenes intertwined showing Charlie being abused by his father. As the book goes on, the students oddly start to sympathize with Charlie and start sharing traumatic stories like some messed up version of The Breakfast Club. At the end of the novel, Charlie allows everyone to go free, except for one. When the police enter, Charlie attempts to commit suicide, but fails. In the final pages, he is sent away to a mental hospital for treatment, and Charlie, addressing the reader, writes, "That's the end. I have to turn off the light now. Good night." Rage was not successful. It wasn't until King was outed that it started to gain popularity, which is where the killing began. In 1988, Jeffrey Lynn Cox took an AR-15 assault rifle and took a class of 60-odd students hostage for a little over half an hour. Thankfully, no one was injured. Jeffrey pleaded guilty to all the charges and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. 1 year later, in 1988, Dustin L. Pierce took a shotgun and held his history class hostage. This caused a standoff with police that lasted 9 hours. Again, no one was injured. 7 years after Dustin Pierce's attack, Barry Lucaitis entered his algebra class and immediately killed two 14-year-old students and badly injured another 13-year-old student with a .30 caliber rifle. He then shot and killed his teacher, yelling, "This sure beats algebra, don't it?" The coach of the school, John Lane, rushed to the classroom after hearing the shots, and when Lucaitis told him his plan to take someone hostage in order to escape without being killed, Lane volunteered. Lane then disarmed Lucaitis and subdued him until police arrived. Finally, in December of 1997, 14-year-old Kentucky native Michael Carneal took a rifle wrapped in a blanket, which he played off as an art project, walked into a prayer meeting in his high school, and opened fire on a youth group, killing 3 girls and injuring 5 others. Afterwards, he dropped his gun and cried, "Kill me, please. I can't believe I've done this." All of them were inspired by rage. The book was found in all of their possessions, either in their locker or at home. When King heard this, he pulled the novel from shelves. King would later write an essay entitled Guns, where he would pose the argument that the reason for the violence the 4 young men brought was because of uncared for mental illness, neglect, and abuse from their parents. Later in the essay, King takes a certain responsibility as well, writing, "My book did not break Cox, Pierce, Carneal, or Lucaitis, or turn them into killers. They found something in my book that spoke to them because they were already broken. Yet, I did see rage as an accelerant, which is why I pulled it from sale. You don't leave a can of gasoline where a boy with firebug tendencies can lay his hands on it." Next on Freaky What. Somewhere, hidden behind closed doors, the world's most powerful people gather in secrecy. We uncover 3 of the most terrifying real-life secret societies that may be shaping our world from the shadows. Don't miss the next episode. We'll see you soon.